take your blanket and we're just gonna kind of give the whole mat a little bit of extra padding. So you can unfold it and then make it so that it's, you know, kind of roughly the shape of your mat. And we're just gonna drape it over. Just give ourselves a little extra cushion overall tonight. And then we'll take this, again, it's gonna be either your biggest cushion, hey Rose, or if you have just like a couple of bed pillows, you can stack them. And what we're gonna do is just kind of sit right at the very edge. Let's actually start kind of far up the mat if you can. We'll sit right at the very edge. And then we're just gonna drape the spine right over. So you should find like a pretty kind of natural way that your tailbone slides down the bottom edge, and then hopefully your head is still supported here. If your upper body is long enough that this pillow is not doing the trick, then just build onto it at the back with some more pillows to support the head for this first one. And you can just kind of let the arms fall down by your sides. If it feels nice to let them open up wide like a big T shape in your body, you might take that, or you can of course drape your arms overhead for even more chest and shoulder opening. We'll just start here tonight. You can let the eyes close. Take a couple of breaths. Let yourself settle in. Just allow your body to soften and drape yourself right over this big pillow or stack of pillows. Letting your legs relax. Letting your jaw fall open. Here you might begin to count out your inhales, breathing in for the count of 6. Breathing out for the count of 6. Again, breathing in for 6. Breathing out for 6. Breathing in for 6. Breathing out for 6. Keep it going on your own. thing that I think is so important to kind of remember in our slower forms of yoga, whether it's yin or restorative, is that we can kind of send the message of calm to the brain by setting the body up in a way that physically feels relaxed. So the more you can release the tension in your body, the more your mind will calm down, kind of following suit, getting the memo. So just focusing on that tonight. Watching the breath move in and out really slowly, no rush. Nowhere to be, nothing to accomplish here. Just letting yourself be right where you are. Think about 3 more long, slow breaths here. And as always, coming out of these poses, you'll really take your time. So when you feel ready, you can start to step your feet onto the mat and reach your fingertips down for your thighs, and then finding a little grip to pull yourself up. We're just gonna kind of slink our way further and further back here. So we're gonna, again, if you need a little more space at the back of your mat, move your, we'll just call it a bolster, closer to the front of your mat. So you can kind of boost your butt up onto the edge. So now you're sitting up on this pillow, and we're gonna come all the way down and back. Realizing I pulled my blanket down as well, but if you need a little padding underneath the head will come down off of the bolster. So the bolster is gonna land kind of right underneath your shoulders. Your shoulders are kind of falling down towards the mat. And then again, it feels nice to leave your arms up over your head, or they can reach out wide by your sides. This feels like any kind of pinching in the low back. You might bend the knees. You can let the knees fall in to touch each other. Otherwise, letting the legs just drape out really long. Noticing any parts of your body that are having trouble relaxing, and think about sending the breath to that spot. You might imagine that there's like a little set of lungs right in that place that you can breathe in and out from. Notice as you get heavier and heavier into your bolster, into your mat. Noticing the changing sensation in your body and in your breath. We'll take a few more breaths here. Again, in your own time, we'll step the feet onto the mat, and this time it might actually be a little bit easier and gentler to just roll off to one side instead of pulling up through center. Come up into a seat. And then again, we're gonna, I'm gonna fix my blanket because that's gonna drive me crazy. But we're gonna basically just keep moving that pillow even further up on your mat so that you can shimmy your butt now away from the edge, more to the middle of that bolster. And you're gonna gently lean back. So now the edge of that pillow or bolster is right around the lowest part of your ribs. So you'll feel your spine and your shoulders fully relaxing onto the mat. And letting that bolster lift up your hips. And again, if this feels like a little much for the low back, you can always bend the knees. Otherwise, you'll get a little extra opening in the front of the body by letting the legs be straight, but first and foremost, I want it to be relaxing and kind of easeful for you. See if you can just settle into the rhythm of your breath here. Letting it move in and out. Watching the belly rise and fall. Take a few more breaths here. your time, you'll step your feet onto the mat. And again, gently rolling off to one side. You're gonna really slowly press back up into your seat. And so now your bolster is gonna be about midway down your mat. You can keep it kind of going along the length of your mat like this. We'll start to grab some other props. So I'm just gonna turn my orientation so you guys can see. We're gonna bring the two little pillows that you have to either side. And then we're gonna come into a frog pose. So as I always say for these classes, you'll use props more or less depending on how much you wanna make it more yin versus restorative. So fewer props will let you sink deeper, which is a little bit more yin. More props will support you more, which is more restorative. So depending on where you're at in your body and in your practice, what you want for your practice tonight, you might add to that central bolster. And then you're just gonna let your two pillows be on your floor. So preferably they can slide if you have a wood or kind of tile floor or something like that. Otherwise you might need to just kind of shimmy them open even more. You're gonna kind of straddle the very end of that central bolster and then come down, letting your knees slide open into your frog. And then same thing here, if you're a little bit on the longer side in the upper body like me, you can always just kind of add on whatever you need here at the top, right? So you might kind of hug another pillow up to the top or slide it right underneath that very bottom edge for a little more lift. And don't worry about this being perfect here. Just kind of settle yourself in, letting those hips open up. You'll notice that the more you move your heels away from each other, the deeper your stretch is going to go. So if that's something you want, you can play with that. Here, see if you can just kind of gently ride the rise and fall of your belly. Maybe even tuning into your own heartbeat. notice if you start to find space to let the knees slide out even further as we hang out here for a while and the body starts to open. Take a few more slow breaths here. When you feel ready, you can start to press your hands down to the mat really slowly, picking yourself up, sliding your knees together, and then just kind of stepping them back onto your mat. And then from here, with your knees all the way together, let's sit back and down into a child's pose, and you can keep the pillow there in front of you if you want to lean on it, or you can just slide it out of the way if you want to come all the way down into this child's pose. Allow your spine to round over your thighs. You might even sweep your arms back by your sides. Take a few more breaths here. When you feel ready, you can start to slowly round your way up, coming to sit on your heels. Let's just take a moment, sitting up nice and tall, letting the shoulders slide down the back. You might take a couple of shoulder rolls here. You might take a little kind of tick-tock of the head. And then from here, if you did move that kind of central bolster out of the way, go ahead and put it back right in front of you. And we're gonna just sweep the feet out in front. You can bring one foot to either side of that central bolster. And now I like to keep these little pillows here to support the knees. We're gonna come into a wide-legged seat. So because I'm a hyperextender in the knees, I always like some knee support, but again, it's your choice. If you feel like you wanna kind of let that leg stretch a little deeper and you don't have that same kind of hypermobility, then go ahead and lose those pillows. And then we'll set up this kind of ramp in front of us. So you might bring one of the pillows underneath the other one or two. Again, depends on how high you want it to go. You can slide it all the way up into your hips. We'll take an inhale to lift, and then when you're ready, exhale and drape yourself forwards. And just adjust. If you want to either lift it higher, you'll slide that bottom pillow closer to you. That'll bring everything up. Or of course you can lower it down if you want to go deeper into the stretch. For me, I want a little bit more height for my head, so I'm going to roll this top pillow underneath itself and give a little extra kind of bump to land on. You can let your legs relax here. Loosen the jaw. Let your shoulders slide down the back. If you always have the same ear, drop down to the pillow and think about switching it up. Take a few more breaths here. You can start to slowly press your way up when you feel ready. From here you can kind of scoop your knees up. Let's remove the little pillows if you were using them. You can just set them right off to the side. And then we're going to bring these bigger pillows back into a horizontal situation. And we might use just one. In this next stretch, the higher you stack this, the more intense the stretch is going to be. So for me, I'm thinking like one thick one and then one softer one is going to be the right height. So again, you can always adjust as you need to once we get into it, once you see what we're doing. Actually, let's keep these two little pillows handy as well. So I'm going to come back to the orientation of my mat here. You've got this big stack right down across. We'll bring one pillow up to the top, at least one, you might want both. And we're gonna you're gonna sit to the side so you can drape the left side of your waist up and over this stack. So your left elbow is gonna land in between your big pillows and your little pillows. You'll wedge your little pillows up so your head is supported. Again, add or take away as you need. And just take a moment to kind of wedge yourself in there. Now from here, you can stay as you are, and if it feels good, if your knees are gonna be bent, you might slide something in between your knees. Or you can start to straighten that top leg, your right leg. And you might sweep your right arm up and over your head. So you're really kind of draping open on the right side. Your left arm should be comfortably falling in this little kind of crevice, this kind of like cavern, if you will. Notice where you go here. Notice the messages that your body is sending to your brain. Or can you relax even more? Take a few more breaths here. If your arm is over your head, start to really gently just bring that arm back by your side. And if your top leg is straight in, slowly start to rebend and stack your knees. You're going to use that right hand to press yourself up. And then we're going to just kind of roll right onto the belly here. So you're just going to turn a little bit so that your belly is on top of that stack of pillows that you were just draped right over. And then you might still want a pillow here. You might not need it quite as much, but just so you can see me. And then we're just gonna take a thread of the right arm underneath the left arm and let your left arm slide out in front. And then just depending on how high up you are, you might want to slide a pillow or maybe even two right underneath your forehead. So again, the arm that runs across is right in that kind of crevice between the pillows. So try not to let your right arm creep up into your neck. Let it stay going right across your chest. So if you need to shimmy forwards a little bit on your big pillows, you might take that. Again, letting the legs and the hips really heavy down here. Enjoy that little supported, almost like a forward fold happening, spacing out in the low back. Again, just breathing, feeling that rise and fall of your breath. Take a couple more breaths here on this side. When you're ready, you can start to lift yourself back up and slide that right arm out. And we're just going to stay on the belly and switch arms here. So you can slide the left arm under, adjust your head pillow if you're using one. Let your right arm go in front of you. Your left palm will be facing the ceiling here. And let the rest of the body be kind of flat. So we're not really twisting, right? We're not stacking the right shoulder over the left shoulder. We're letting the left arm go straight across the chest, letting the right shoulder heavy down to add to that stretch. Take a few more breaths here. Start to slowly press your way up, just landing up on your elbows again. Then from here, we're gonna roll over to the other side. So we're taking our big side stretch. You'll let the right side of your waist land up and over the big pillows. The right arm will just kind of fall in between, and then you might add a little bit more head support here as you bring the right ear down. If you want that pillow in between your knees, you can slip that in there. We'll start with the knees bent as you just kind of find your spot, hooking your kind of ribs right into that support. And you might stay here, just almost like a supported fetal position. If you want to add to the left side stretch, you can start to straighten the left leg and maybe reach the left arm up and over and just let it hang over your head. can let your breath start to deepen. If you have your left arm over the head, start to bring it down by your side. And if your left knee is straight, go ahead and rebend it, stacking the knees. From here, you can start to really gently press your way all the way up into a seated position. Slide that pillow out of the way. All right. Start to, well, wind it down. Not that we ever really winded things up. But we're gonna come all the way down. So let's remove all of the big props for now. Keep your little pillows handy. And then just come all the way down onto your back. And you can take a moment here in constructive rest, letting the knees fall in to touch each other. You might take a little sway of the knees side to side. And just feel your spine kind of lengthen out on the mat. Here, let's slide the feet a little closer together and then make a figure four by crossing your right ankle over your left knee. You can stay here for a gentle kind of passive stretch, or you can start to draw your left thigh in towards your chest. Think about sliding your shoulders down and lengthening it through the neck. You can stay still here, or if it feels good for you, you can take a little rock of the legs side to side. Just a couple of breaths here in this pigeon stretch. One more. We're going to keep the figure four in the legs. Let the left foot come onto the mat again. And move your hips a little to the right, letting both of your legs drop over to the left. So you're coming into a twist. You can let your right arm fall to the right. And here's where you might want one or two of the little pillows. You can slide them underneath your knee for something to land on. Try to release any clenching in the thighs. Take a big breath in, a big breath out. Start to slowly float your knees back up to center. Step both feet down to the mat. Bring your hips to the middle. And we'll take the other side, crossing the left ankle over the right knee. And if you like, you can draw the right thigh in to deepen that stretch. You can take a little rock here, side to side. We Don't be here super long, just a couple deep breaths, opening up. Let's take about one more. Then we'll land that right foot back to the mat, shimmy the hips a little to the left, and let the knees topple over to the right. And again, if you want some support, sliding a pillow or several pillows underneath the knees, giving them something to land on as your left arm falls open. Again, finding a sense of release throughout the body here. Take a big breath in, big breath out. And slowly start to bring yourself back up to center, stepping both feet to the mat. Let everything come back to neutral for a moment. You might let the knees fall into touch. When you're ready, we're going to roll off to either side. Coming back up into our seat, just so we can set up a nice supported Shavasana. All right, so from here, my candle's out of the way. I'm going to have you bring one of your longer pillows across the bottom of your mat horizontally. And then we're going to build up that ramp like we had it earlier. So you're going to bring the other long pillows kind of tipped up in front of you. And then let's have one small pillow on either side. And you're going to scoot yourself up pretty close to the ramp and lay yourself down. And then let your legs just drape up onto that ramp. And if it feels nice here, you can let your arms drape over the smaller pillows by your sides. A moment to settle yourself in, a couple of big breaths to release yourself down. fall down from the roof of the mouth. Feel everything kind of melt into the floor, into the props. Letting your body feel really supported and held here. No effort, no strain. Receive that message of relaxation, of release. Start to slowly deepen your breath. Start to find movement in your body. Of course, if you'd like to stay in your Shavasana, your home, you can stay as long as you like. If and when you're ready to come out, you'll roll yourself off to the left side, getting into a fetal position, and just taking a moment to pause there. Moving really slowly as you peel your way up, coming into a seat. Eyes stay closed as you sit up really tall. Take a moment to just acknowledge your body and breath, the energy. Bring your hands together in front of your heart, bowing your chin, and thanking yourself for your practice tonight. Inhale through the nose, and gentle exhale through the mouth. And I thank you guys so much for joining me here. Namaste. Thanks, guys. Nice and relaxed. Good to see joining. Yeah, we'll be back here same time next week. Yay, I'm glad you enjoyed. I am going to be doing the same schedule, 11 o'clock, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday this week. And then I also just opened up registration for a workshop this coming Saturday, so like just about a week away. We'll be doing a mindfulness for anxiety workshop. It's one of my favorite conversations to lead, and I'm really excited to see how it translates into the virtual space. So you can find that info on my Instagram or on my website, or always just message me if you're looking for something that you can't find. But yeah, thanks for joining, and I will see you guys again soon.